Every lawyer that's ever handled a car wreck case thinks that he or she can handle an 18-wheeler accident. 18-wheeler accidents are a whole different animal from your garden variety fender bender. 18-wheelers are governed at the federal level under the Code of Federal Regulations, and they involve typically much more severe injuries and much higher insurance limits on the policies that insure the truckers. They also demand a much different set of knowledge about how to try these cases and work them up for trial than a car wreck case does. The equipment on 18-wheelers is different, and knowledge of that equipment is essential to understanding how some accidents happen. And that's something that, unless you've done it for a long time, you just don't have that knowledge, don't have that information, don't have that base upon which to handle those cases. The scope of investigation of a truck accident case is radically different from a car wreck case. There are logs that are required by regulation to be maintained by the drivers, and there are maintenance records which are crucial to understanding many of the 18-wheeler accidents that have to be investigated. Knowledge of that is something that you need in order to understand what kind of information you need to gather in order to prepare your case for resolution or trial. And that's something that if you've tried a bunch of small fender benders, you just don't have that information. Well, there are issues in 18-wheeler litigation that you just don't find in car wreck cases, and some of those have to do with proper loading of the vehicle, which may implicate somebody other than the driver of the vehicle in certain kinds of accidents. And there is a broader scope of liability typically in an 18-wheeler accident than you see in a fender bender or in a small car wreck case. In addition, the drivers are limited in the number of hours that they can drive, and this is always a push-pull kind of a fight because the drivers want to get as many miles as they can because most of them get paid by the mile, and so their push is to cheat on the logs on how much they drive. One time we had a case where a male-female truck driver had an accident out in West Texas, and somebody had been monkeying with the logs, and if you put the logs together the way that they wrote them, you found that the male and female had been in the sleeper for about 6 hours immediately prior to that accident, which obviously didn't happen. If you have a serious personal injury, or if you have lost a loved one or a family member in a catastrophic